Hey, it's the girl Flavilla Fongang from Free Colors War, and I'm back again this time. I'm doing this short video of people who are trying to pitch to get investment. And trust me, I see a lot of pitch deck, investment deck, and quite often they're not so good. And I wonder why nobody has actually done something like that to really help you guys get yourself ready for investment. So I did a talk at the Expense Summit a couple of weeks ago now, and I'm retransformed this presentation specifically to help you secure investment. So this time I'm going to cover how you should pitch and really what people are looking for, what investors are looking for to hear from you, and also what are the key elements that needs to be in your pitch deck. And if you don't have that, something is really missing. So I want you to make sure you get this right, okay? So I'm going to move over to the slide so you can stop seeing my face because probably you have enough of that. So let's move to the slide. So, okay, so the challenges of attracting investors. So I think the biggest mistake, the biggest assumption that I see quite often is people assume because they have the money, they have the capital, they know it all. And surprisingly enough, you see that a lot of people have, and I ask them, is this a dream or a nightmare? Nightmare for me. Is this a dream or a nightmare? A nightmare as well, and another nightmare. But these guys have managed and know exactly what to say to secure investment. And unfortunately, for people who have given a lot of money, didn't turn out exactly how they wanted to. So the reason I'm doing this presentation is because I see a lot of people with amazing ideas. They want to change the world, but quite often they don't know how to articulate the commercial value and how an investor should choose to invest with their business. And it becomes extremely hard because obviously the market, the climate is uncertain. Think about Brexit, what's going to happen after Brexit. The technology changes. Obviously, maybe your technology might be relevant today and might not be relevant tomorrow. So obviously, there's a lot of choices to go for. Think about blockchain or just fintech. There's a lot of choices. Again, you have really spoiled choices. So where do I put my money? If I had £1 million, if I had £1 billion as an investor, where do I choose to put my money in? And again, one thing that is super as well frustrating for an investor is so much inaccuracy in terms of information in the market that is not controlled. And you'd be surprised how many people have invested in business that didn't pay off. And actually, I think I've spoke to a number of investors, and usually only one out of seven actually really make a return on investment quite fast. So it takes, it means that it's actually quite difficult for them to actually choose to invest, and they have to be much more careful. This is a number just for London. It's about, in London in 2018, 4,752 tech companies were created. That's a lot. So you can imagine how good you have to be when you present your business, especially because you have a lot of people competing against one another. I'm talking about people in London. You have people also coming from overseas and try to help, to get some money, whatever, going to China, whatever, going to America, whatever other possibilities. London is a great place for technology companies, as we know now. So you think about, these two guys, obviously the founders of Google, they've done really well for themselves, £1 billion company. And I want you to really look at it from a different point of view. What will make you attractive for tech investors? Yes. The first thing people tend to look for, or investors tend to look for, is what is your academic background? What have you studied? Are you related? What your technology is about related to what you do now? Is there some form of correlation? And if it's not, it doesn't really mean anything. Also, do you have experience working in an international organization? That may be some of the questions that they may be asking you. So you have to be prepared for that. And if you haven't, what would you say instead? Super important. And have you built out a business before? People tend to give more money to people who have experience building a business. Being an employee and being a business entrepreneur is completely different. Trust me, I know that. So if you can showcase, if you have done that in the past, and if you haven't done that, having a co-founder or somebody part of your team who has experience will really help you out, get more strength and get more interest from investors. Again, same thing, when you think about building a business, this obviously is empty today because everybody left, but it's about having a team because you can't do everything by yourself. But if people are not excited or you don't know how to manage team and get them to do the work that you want them to do, you're going to struggle to grow your business. So what I presented to you are very much IQ and EQ, intelligence and emotional intelligence. So is that sufficient? I probably not. Obviously, I know it's not enough. Yeah, so I'm going to show you different part of quotient, I can pronounce this quotient, that are also relevant when it comes to demonstrating that you are the best entrepreneur to invest in. So just so you know, my name is Flavilla Fongang, as I mentioned earlier on, and I'm the founder of Free Colors War. People know me as a brand strategist, but I'm also a BBC guest expert. So they have me, as you can see, always smiling and giving some great advice to tech entrepreneurs like you. And obviously, I'm also a busy. I mean, for me, it's obvious, but not for everybody. I'm also an international speaker. So I'm lucky enough to speak on big stages and come back to that slide. So really, our company specializes in helping tech companies create brand people love to buy from, and also attract investors, more customers, more investors that make them super happy. Okay. So if I had to summarize in a few words what I do is relevant is because I make you look like Costa Cafe instead of just a commodity, like instead of just being a coffee shop. So would you like to charge 175 or would you like to charge 425? It's really up to you. That's the power of branding, because people love to make safe choices when they face too many choices. That's pretty much how the brain works. So an award-winning branding and marketing agency, and we've done that for using a lot of neuroscience expertise. And how we've done it, we've developed our own system, which is around the D.A.C systems, which means distinguish, attract. D stands for distinguish, A stands for attract, and the C stands for convert. So this is what I see quite often. People will invest a lot of money in marketing or digital and sales, but then they don't have their strategy or their messaging right, or the identity is not right. So they spend a lot of money and not getting the result that they want. Or sometimes they have a great strategy, they have a great identity, but they're not doing any marketing or sales or digital exposure. I mean, something's not going to go right, yes? Or sometimes they have the marketing right, they have the strategy right, but the identity is mismatching. So people are like, oh, who are you? What do you represent? Yes? So it's super important that you do those spaces in the right order: strategy, identity, and marketing and digital sales afterwards. It's super, super important. And quite often, I don't see people doing that. And that's the reason why people fail. Okay, so we talked about IQ and EQ, but I want to talk about another, which is adaptive intelligence, because you have to be ready for questions that your investors will ask you. So they would ask you, what if? Are you able? Is your mind, or have you actually trained your mind to be able to adapt to different situations? So that's adaptive intelligence. Try to teach yourself to put yourself in different situations. And if you're able to do that, you'll be ready for any questions they might ask you. If you don't prepare for the what if questions, especially for good investors, then you put yourself in a lot of trouble if you're not able to adapt to different things. So for example, what happens if you're not able to get the $1 million that you want? What are you going to do? You know, that could be an exact question. What happens if you lose one member of your team? What happens if tomorrow another technology come and disturb you? What are you going to do? This is the kind of question you have to be ready for. You have to be able to also constantly challenge your status quo. This is probably one of the key sentences from Mr. Steve Jobs. He loved to say that, you know, we challenge the status quo, and look at how big his brain has become. So really try to always challenge your brain to unlearn things. And that's the reason why at the beginning, I'm just going to go back because I want to explain why you have the brain on the right-hand side. So neuroscience, a lot of neuroscience has an impact in terms of how we develop brain, and that's what I really wanted to teach you here. So have a curious mind, you know, really cultivate your curious mind, cultivate your knowledge, never be afraid to learn from anybody. That will help you showcase that you are open. So when somebody gives you negative feedback, take it on board, especially if it's constructive. You know, don't ignore it. It's very important. But be very good at cultivating this curious mind so you can can keep adapting your business. And you've seen a lot of businesses such as Blockbuster who refuse to adapt. And where are they now? Yes? And you don't want to be one of them. The last, probably the most important one, is spiritual intelligence, which is very much why you're doing it. What that means, it has to go beyond who you are. What is your why? Why did you choose to do it? What impact do you want to make? And if you're able to explain that, touch also the emotional intelligence, that really gives sense of this person has a bigger picture. This person understands the scalable impact of what they're doing. It's not just about money, it's about something that actually will make an impact on the world. And if you're able to show this different intelligence in the articulation of your business, of your startup, trust me, you're going to get much more better results. And I've seen it, and it works really, really well. So the last part of this small video presentation, I wanted to focus on investment tech, because as I said to you, I'm quite often the bridge between investors and tech entrepreneurs. And sometimes we have to go back and say, okay, let's redo that deck, because that deck makes no sense. For you, it makes sense. And when I work with technology companies, they're obviously very engineering minds where they understand one another. So obviously they speak together and understand one another. I come in between and I say, well, That does not make sense because you're not talking to me commercial value, which is super important. You need to always talk commercial value and be very clear. So I'm going to give you 11 points that you have to make sure that you really articulate on your deck. And if you have 2 minutes or 5 minutes, just put it, be straightforward and get to the point. But your full investment deck should have at least as a minimum these 11 points, and something is missing, something will make them question, and they will doubt, and then they postpone, and they choose not to invest with you. Okay, so we have to make sure you get it right. So first, your definition of your business, try to articulate the benefit. What I mean by that is that we have a digital platform that allows yes. So what is the impact that you're trying to make? And we are unique because, simple as us from the start, okay, you get my attention. Then you have to present the problem. If there's no problem to be solved, what's the point of the technology? What is the problem that the market, and how scalable, how big is this problem, and what do you think is relevant? Then based on that, you need to be able to articulate your solutions. What is the solution, and why no one has thought about that, and how you're going to come and solve this with your technology? Super important. Think about it, especially if you are, I'm presuming most of the time you are in a market where there's people doing something similar to you. How are you differentiate? How are you bring something new? If you think about Stripe, yes, is it Stripe? I think it's this Stripe, yes. When PayPal, you can think the PayPal was good enough, but Stripe came in and completely, disrupt, the comfortable position of PayPal, yes. So they had to really evaluate who they wanted to target, how were they different, and why was it relevant to pay attention to what they did, to what they do. And obviously, whatever market growth opportunities, what I think that the untapped opportunities that you can tap on, and so you make the eyes of investor really just shine on, and they get excited about really listening more. And again, super important and quite often I say is like you ask for investment and you don't explain the readiness of your business. How ready are you? And if you're not ready, explain why you're not ready. It could be you want a patent. So if you start trading via a patent, that means that will affect your business and means that you cannot protect your IP, for example. So I have a lot of examples. So you have to, if you're not ready or if you are ready, make sure that you explain that you are ready. This is super, super important. And again, be specific, clear in terms of who you want to target and that you have a niche market, because quite often, especially in technology, people want to target everything. Yeah, so be specific in terms of who you want to target. So if you think about Stripe, they targeted developers, web developers, because they understood that they were the one who understand them the most. So be very specific in terms of who you want to charge. Having a clear pricing model or price model showcase that you understand exactly how you can scale your business, and you can also consequently showcase the scalability and the scaling opportunities that you are able to provide. Make them think very quickly. If you put numbers in their mind and they can see multiply very quickly, they know their numbers, trust me. So if you can explain very quickly, scalable, what's your pricing model? How do you see how easy it is to, the entry level is how easy do you make it? It's super important, especially for technology. So you don't have a very long cycle of turnaround in terms of prospect to client. That's super important. That will make them light up again. And again, go to market strategy. Well, how you plan to get into the market? What is your approach? Super important. Again, that's a bit of marketing. But I super important that you also understand how to talk about that, because a business without marketing would not survive. Trust me, that is not possible. As you see, this is part of phase 3. And again, your project timeline. What are the things that you already achieved? For example, the achievements, and what are the forecasts that you expect to get? Again, this part is important because it shows that you are organized, that you know what you're doing, and you have really clarified where you want to be. Super, super key. And my last point of this is how much money do you want? How are you going to use that capital? What is the success projection and the return on investment? Super important. So that's 11 points I wanted to give you. Again, money that you're going to use, obviously be careful how you explain to use that capital, because that might also turn them off, okay? And again, what is the success projection? Be realistic, don't overplay, because people don't like it. And then you get something you can create an opposite impact. And obviously return on investment, what money, how much money are they going to get, when they're going to get it back, yes? So that's super important. So I wanted to put this down to help you out, secure more investment, and I hope that helped you. So I'm going to bring it back again: intellect, will, flexibility, and purpose. So EQ, IQ, AQ, SQ. This is really what you need to be able to portray for your personality. Remember at the beginning when you're starting, don't invest a lot of money in people like us. You probably just need someone like me at the beginning just to help you create your investment deck. then go out there. You have a brand. Go crazy. Show who you are. Be relentless. You're gonna face a lot of rejection, and that's part of the game, you know. But you have to be ready to explain, like, I've tried this, it didn't work out, and I'm here again. You know, that's what people are looking for. Are you relentless? Relentless. And again, something you're able to adapt. Flexibility again comes back to adaptability. Yes, flexibility, purpose, and your purpose will be your driver that will keep you going. And if you don't have that, that will basically just affect you. You know, that's so. There you go. So yes, so if you want to find out more, this is my email address. And feel free to message me if you found that super interesting. Feel free to leave a lovely comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, so you can know more on our website, freecolorswood.com. Visit us, and we have a lot more. Have a lot more tutorials at the time uploading every now and then. So please stay tuned and good luck. Let me know how it goes. Bye. All right, I said bye, but I'm still here. So there you go. I'm definitely back.